Hi, I'm Rob Patz, and welcome to 5 Minutes With. On today's edition of 5 Minutes With, I'm with Bruce Minchey. Bruce, how are you doing, man?
I am doing well, Rob. How are you?
I am awesome. Hey, you know what? I want you to introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about Bruce.
Okay. I'm just a country boy, I guess, at heart. I grew up singing in church since I was probably 6 years old, and in a small country church, and sang pretty much all my life, Southern gospel primarily, and singing in choirs as well. But I've just have a real passion for gospel music, and just my real heart is Southern country gospel.
Uh-huh.
And I was privileged to record an album back in 2020, and that's first album, but I'm working on getting back in the studio this year to do a little bit more.
Hey, Bruce, tell me, and I always find this interesting when I talk to people, tell me who influenced your style?
Well, I grew up listening to the Hensons, the Goodmans, groups like the Cathedrals and the Hemp Hills. So I think a lot of what influenced me was probably a couple of my musical heroes, I guess, would be Rusty Goodman and Kenny Henson. I know a lot of people looked up to those two guys, and I'm no exception.
Uh-huh. So in your collection of music right now, what is your favorite album?
Boy, that's a tough one. I've got a lot of good ones. I've got several from Jason Crabb that I really like. I've listened a lot to Adam Crabb's latest album. It's really good. But it's hard for me to say it. I guess what a favorite would be.
That's cool. Hey, I want everybody to know, because we're getting to know you a little bit here on 5 Minutes With, but they may want to know more about you. Give your website.
My website is just simply bruceminchey.com.
Spell it.
And my email is bruce@bruceminchey.com.
Okay, but Bruce, spell your last name so people can get it.
Okay, it's Minchey.
And you're in the beautiful state of Texas, if I remember right.
That's correct.
Whereabouts in Texas?
I live in North Texas, about 30 minutes north of Dallas, a little town called Melissa.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Love Texas. Love Tex-Mex food. I love Texas. Have a great time. Was there one time, though, in July doing an outdoor event, and it was like about 109 degrees. You
Right.
You can relate to that, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
So tell us about your new album that you have out, the album that you said you recorded.
Well, I was privileged to do that with Michael Sykes as a producer. And we just went back and recorded some old Henson Goodman songs primarily. Also, an old song by Calvert and Joyce Croft, Can't Even Walk Without You Holding My Hand. But recorded songs like Rusty Goodman's Who Am I, Leaving on My Mind, songs by Ronnie Henson, That I Can Still Go Free, There's Power in Prayer, and He Pilots My Ship.
That's awesome. Well, Bruce, you're going to be with us at Pigeon Forge for Creekside Revival coming up March 30th through April 2nd. But this one last question before we have to go, and this is an important one for all of us that travel a lot. What is your favorite restaurant when you're on the road?
My favorite on the road? Well, it's the one I seem to stop a lot at is Cracker Barrel because there's so many of them.
Well, that's true. And you can't go wrong. It's always good.
Oh, it's absolutely. But I also like Texas Roadhouse, and there's quite a few of those around, even though it wasn't even started in Texas.
It wasn't? I didn't know that.
I believe it was started in Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? That is so cool. See, I learned something today. Hey, Bruce, give your website one more time.
It's bruceminchey.com. And again, Bruce, Minchey.
That's awesome. Well, see Bruce at Creekside Revival coming up in Pigeon Forge March 30th through April 2nd. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Rob. Look forward to it.